Thank you so much for tuning in today to learn about freshman transition and learner support. My name is Ally Landis, and I am a regional representative for the University of Tulsa. The University of Tulsa is located in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but I am actually regionally based, so I am based here in Dallas, Texas.
Hi all, my name is Katherine Morris and I am the Dallas-Fort Worth Admissions Regional Recruiter for Louisiana Tech University, which is in Reston, Louisiana, and I'm also located here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So this presentation is brought to you by DARN, which is the Dallas-Fort Worth Admissions Regional Network. We are an organization based of member institutions that are located outside of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, which includes Ally and I's institutions. And so we're here as a resource for you to help further your college search process.
Well, it'll transition for me. Sorry, y'all. There we go. And so today what we're going to talk about is your transition to college and how to make the most of that experience, as well as resources to help you with that. We're going to look at resources academically, socially, emotionally, and physically. And parents, we have not forgotten about you, and you shouldn't either. And we know it's a transition for you as well. So we also have some tips for you. And then to finish it off, we will let you know how to connect with both of us and our institutions, as well as the DARN network.
Look at those lovely faces. So whether you like it or not, college is going to be a big transition. And so as you can see here, we've posted two pictures from our freshman years of college. So you can kind of see the good, the bad, and the ugly. We all made it through, and so will you. One day in the future, you might laugh at your freshman year pics, but you're always going to remember that you had the time of your life.
And let me just point out, guys, Katherine is like cute as a button over there, and I am over here in my plaid Bermuda shorts. So I still made it. I still made friends, so there's hope. Just saying. So first off, starting off your freshman year on the right foot actually happens before you even physically set foot on campus. And every school is going to have some sort of activities that take place before classes begin. So one thing that every institution will have is a time for you to meet with your academic advisor and enroll in classes. So it can be confusing because different universities can use different terminology. This could be called your advising appointment, your enrollment appointment. For some schools, this is actually a part of your freshman orientation. But no matter what it's called, it's very important. So you definitely want to make sure that you do that and are a part of that. And then the other thing is that every school will have some sort of opportunity for you to meet other incoming freshmen and to do fun activities and meet other freshmen and also meet other upperclassmen. So some schools will call this welcome week. Some schools call this orientation. Some schools have a specific camp like Camp Crimson, and some schools call it something totally different. And so just know whether these opportunities are optional or they're required. You should definitely take advantage and go to all of them. And parents, usually there's some sort of parent orientation happening during some of these events. And so definitely check on that. And if there is one, make sure that you participate as well. It's a great opportunity for you to meet other parents, and then also for you to meet some faculty and staff that are gonna be interacting with your student. So after you move into your dorm, there's usually at least a couple days, maybe a week even, before classes start. And during this time, there's lots of free food on campus, lots of free t-shirts, lots of organizations out on the lawn or in the union or wherever it is at your university wanting you to join their organization. And so a great way to get you to listen to them is to give out some free stuff. And so again, take advantage, go out and about on campus and get your free t-shirt, get your free slice of pizza. And while you're there, meet other people. Again, everyone is in the same boat. Everyone is new, everyone wants friends. So don't be afraid to strike up a conversation while you're in line for pizza, asking, hey, what kind of pizza is happening here? What's happening here? How do I get this free slice of pizza? and ask what their major is, where they're from. It might be someone who later is your lifelong best friend. You never know. Also, most institutions will have some sort of first year experience course. Again, this could be called something different, a gateway course, or some schools call it first year experience course. But basically, it's usually a 1-credit class, and that's a smaller class. And the goal is for you to meet the other students in your class and kind of form a cohort, as well as learn about university resources. So not only is it an easy A, as long as you go to class and participate, but it's a great opportunity for mentorship and then also to form relationships, which are 2 really big, important parts of college.
So your university is most likely going to provide all those resources that Ally just mentioned to kind of help you set the tone externally in terms of your freshman year, but you also want to set the tone internally in terms of how you are going to prepare for your freshman year of college. So once classes begin, you're going to have to set realistic expectations for yourself. You and only you know yourself best, and so don't put undue pressure on yourself. You are going to know what time of day you most like to study, what kinds of grades that you want. So you know you. And so give yourself grace and be flexible with this new stage of life, because kind of like we've said and what our talk is titled today is about transition. And so recognize that it is a period of transition and give yourself grace in that respect. Additionally, it's important to be an initiator. College is going to be a lot different than high school. And so in high school, you had your whole day scheduled. Friends kind of like fell into your lap, whether it was in classes, that you may have been in, or sports teams, whatever the case may be. There was a lot of ways to meet people. And so in college, it's going to be a little bit different. You do have to be intentional and be an initiator when it comes to friendships and also maintaining the grades that you want in those classes. To meet friends, you're going to have to, set up a time to meet at a coffee shop or meet at the cafeteria or meet after class. And so be intentional with that time because you want to set the tone and be able to meet, friends early on in your freshman year. Additionally, you're going to have to initiate when it comes to your professors and going to things like office hours, which we will discuss later on, and asking, your professor questions if you do have questions in that class or you didn't understand a topic that was discussed. Things like this are not just going to come out of the blue. You do have to work for things like your relationships within your college, and also maintaining those relationships with the professors that will be teaching your courses of study. It's not always easy, but you will learn how to advocate for yourself in terms of, asking those questions, and also advocating for yourself in terms of people that you want to meet and friendships that you want to build. Additionally, it's important to create a healthy dose of structure. Most of us are going to thrive on routine, whether you think that or not. Typically, it's going to be true. You may think that you're the exception, but most likely you're not. And so, you may have resisted against the routine that you were placed on in high school, whether it was the high school that you went to or your family. You may not have liked that routine. And so in college, it's that time where you can kind of set the routine that works well for you, but know that you do most likely, need a routine, and find one that works for you, works for your personality, and enjoy. And you'll, hope will thrive in that respect, in that new routine.
Absolutely. Routine is really important. So glad that you mentioned that, Katherine. And so the first thing that we are going to talk about in terms of your transition now is academics. It's why you're going to college. It should be your first priority, and make sure that you go to class. First things first, it can be really easy to skip if you had an 8 a.m. class and you had a late night the night before, or your friends are going to play ultimate frisbee during your class and it's a beautiful day, and you need to make sure that you are prepared for those moments and that you are going to choose to go to class. Your mom shouldn't be calling you or reminding you to go to class. This is college, and so this is really your opportunity to be independent. And with that, you need to own your independence and wake up for class on your own, and again, go to class. You're also going to need to learn how to study if you haven't done so. Maybe in high school you didn't have to study, or you could study the night before. This is not going to be the case in college. Usually your grades are going to be based on maybe a couple of papers or maybe 3 exams. So you're going to have to really be studying along the way. And there's all different types of ways to study. You can rewrite notes, you can type your notes, you can re-listen to lectures and flashcards. Whatever way that works for you is great. Just find something that works. And if you didn't do so well on that first test, take a deep breath. It's okay, it's not the end of the world, and just know that you need to readjust. So one thing you can actually do to readjust is to go talk to your professor during their office hours. These are times that are set aside for the professor to be in their office to talk to you and answer your questions. So office hours is not for them doing work, it's really for you. So don't be afraid to go and ask a professor to rework an equation that you didn't understand, or go over a concept that you didn't understand, or even just to introduce yourself and say hi. Those are really great ways to make sure that you're doing everything you can to prepare for those tests and exams and papers. Another great thing to take advantage of is study groups. So I recommend for every class getting the contact information of at least one person, so that if you're sick or there's an emergency and you do have to miss class, you can find out what you missed. And also so that you can study with people. They might have understood concepts that you didn't understand, and vice versa. And it's also great accountability to have other people who are also setting aside time to study or work on those lab reports. It's much better to do those things together. Believe me, I have done things alone and together, and they always worked out better when I was sharing the load with other people. You'll also need to find an organization system that works, whether it's your iPhone calendar or it's a physical planner. And again, totally up to you. Just know that you need some way to organize your study times, when things are due, what all is happening, because there is a lot happening in college. And then finally, make sure that you check your university email. That's how information from your professors, maybe class is being canceled, maybe an exam is being moved. Really important information is going to be sent to you that way. The other thing to know about checking your school email is some schools do let you forward your school email to another email. And so if it's hard for you to check multiple emails, then you could potentially set that up.
So like Ally mentioned, the primary reason for going to college is to educate yourself and to prepare for your future career. However, you've most likely by this point heard whether it's your parents or your parents' friends kind of mention that college was the best years of their life, and usually they're not going to be talking about that 8 a.m. class that they went to. It's most likely going to be the relationships and the friendships that they formed while they were in college. And so this is going to be tremendously important. College is a time where you do have a lot of extra time, even though you are spending a lot of time on your academics. You have some extra time to really build unique friendships that will last a lifetime. And so we've kind of listed a number of different ways that you're most likely already familiar with, but these are going to be organizations that almost every university is going to have. You know, if you went to a large high school and had a lot of different opportunities, or if you went to a smaller high school and you didn't have as many opportunities to be involved, each university that you might be going to is going to have numerous organizations, most likely hundreds of organizations to be involved in, which can kind of sound overwhelming, but it's also a way where you can really find a place and other people in a group of friends that you can really connect with, even if it's a very specific interest or if it's a more broad interest like Greek life or student government. And so I'll kind of briefly discuss these. So intramurals is is a place where if you were active in high school or if you played sports, it's a great way to kind of relax and that phrase endorphins makes you happy. So it's a great way to kind of take a break from your classes and in the form of some healthy competition. Club sports is a little bit more competitive. So club teams, you are going to actually compete against other universities, but it's not going to be on a Division I, Division II, Division III NCAA level. It's going to be less competitive, but it does allow you to form relationships with your teammates and also still compete on a little bit higher level than intramurals. There's going to be lots of different major specific clubs and organizations and professional societies where you can glean information and professional advice from upperclassmen within your field and also professors and industry professionals. Additionally, there's going to be more interest-based clubs. If you've read Harry Potter, a lot of universities are going to have Quidditch teams. And so, just unique interests like that, there are oftentimes going to be a lot of more very niche-based groups. So if there's something that you're very passionate about that's more interest-based, oftentimes there's going to be a club or organization, that fits that unique interest that you might have. Additionally, Greek life is large on many college campuses. These are going to be a combination of more social interest groups and also philanthropic interests. So it's a great way to get connected with a large group of people while also maintaining that sense of service. Additionally, there's going to be student government. This can take a lot of different forms, but if you're interested in enacting policy on your campus, it's a great way to take an active role in the student life on your campus. Additionally, there's going to be a lot of campus organizations and campus ministries and religious organizations. So no matter your denomination or area of faith, there's most likely going to be some kind of organization on campus where you can find people of the same faith as you. And so these clubs and organizations will often have midweek services and Bible studies or other ways to connect. Additionally, they will often have cheap lunches. I know when I was a student, I took advantage of some dollar lunches that religious organizations had on my campus. And so it's a great way to connect as well and also enjoy some cheap food. Also, there's going to be service organizations that, whether that's in Greek life or, it's a specific organization only for service, there's going to be a lot of ways to serve your fellow students and serve the community that you're investing in your university. Just wanted to note that this is a time to try something new. And so it's a great way to, if you had never been involved or never taken French, to join the French club and learn something new. College is a great time to really find out some things that you may not have realized that you were interested in beforehand. Another part of kind of your social life in college is going to be the roommate process. And so whether you want a roommate or not, our recommendation is to have one, especially in your freshman year. Whether you want, you think you want a roommate or not, roommates provide that sense of a connection of just coming home and having, someone to maybe talk about your day or, just ask some questions. You may think, no, I don't think I want a roommate. Like, I am fine. Like, I've had a room to myself. But you forget that, even if you have a room to yourself in your house, your parents or siblings might still be in the next room. And so that kind of provides that sense of connection that you may not even realize that you'll miss. We also recommend live on campus if possible. It is a really unique time in life where you can live on a college campus, and specifically in your freshman year is going to be when most of the students are also going to be living on campus. And so I know one of the years that I lived on campus, I grabbed dinner and then walked and kind of meandered over to our Performing Arts Center and went to a concert. And so that experience wouldn't have been possible if I, had was eating at home, like in my pajamas, and then, started studying. And so just some fun ways, if you are on campus, to kind of take advantage of the unique opportunities that your university may provide. Additionally, if you live in a dorm or an apartment, it's a great time to meet your neighbors. You may, meet someone from another state or in a different major as you. So it's a great place to connect as well. Some of you may not want a roommate or may not be interested in a roommate because you're afraid of conflict, which is a valid thing. Sometimes you won't have the best situations, but we want to just stress that conflict is not always a bad thing, and there are resources for you and ways that you can grow. If you do have, a roommate that, gets on your nerves or something like that, there are, are ways to address the situation, to involve maybe residential life, and, to also grow as an individual as well through those experiences.
Awesome. Thanks, Catherine. So kind of piggybacking, golly, y'all, it is a rough today. And piggybacking off of what Catherine was saying socially, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. And I know we keep saying this, but there's just so many opportunities to get involved, to try something new, and to meet new people. It's, again, really different from high school. I am friends with people from college who I just wouldn't have been friends with in high school because I feel like there were just more set groups in high school and it was a limited number of people. And so, yeah, just open yourself up to those possibilities, and don't be afraid to be the initiator, like we talked about, and ask someone to lunch. Y'all saw my picture in the plaid Bermuda shorts. But I was not afraid to put myself out there. And so I would invite people to things all the time. And I would just start inviting people from classes and from my dorm to lunch. And by the end of the day, I would have a group of like 8 of us eating lunch together, and people who didn't know each other. And then they would get to meet each other. And again, y'all, I was not cool, but everyone wants to be wanted. Everyone wants to be a part of something, just like how you would feel if someone was like, hey, do you want to go play volleyball at the rec tonight? And you would want that. Someone else would want that too. The worst thing that can happen is that they say no, and which totally fine. Maybe they're busy. Maybe they don't want to play volleyball. And you can ask someone else. And the best case scenario is that someone could be a lifelong friend. So just don't be afraid to do it. Put yourself out there. Like I said, be an initiator. You're all in the same boat. And this is a really unique time of your life, and where you're starting something new with a bunch of people who are all in the same place. And so just remember that. And there are going to be times where you probably feel lonely, or you feel like everyone else is doing something. And first of all, it's not true. Second of all, if you're lonely or feeling sad, then be an initiator. Go across the hall, knock on your door of your neighbor, see if they're around. There's always someone up for a 1 a.m. Whataburger run, and in Texas at least. And so again, like Catherine said, another great perk of being in the dorms is that really there is always someone around. But with that, you do want to balance it. You don't want to overextend yourself socially. It's also possible. I also did this during my freshman year. I tell people I felt like I was at camp, like it wasn't real life. And so just always felt like I needed to be up until midnight. It was always with people. And so I learned my lesson. Make sure that you leave those times to study. I always say meal times are a great time to connect with people. It's good to have a break from the books, and everyone has to eat, right? So make sure that you have that balance of social and academics. Man, sorry y'all, my mouse isn't working. There we go.
Awesome. So, we've kind of hit on some of the big points of transition that come with going to college. And we kind of automatically think of, academic transition, geographic transition. You might be going away from home for the first time. And also, social transition and how you're going to meet friends. But your emotional and physical health is truly so important, especially during this time. And it's critical that you keep yourself emotionally and physically strong, just in the face of a lot of transition. And so we just want to stress take care of yourself, and also know how to take care of yourself. This might be the first time away from home. And so, learning what you need just emotionally and, and physically is a healthy thing to learn as you go into college. So, one thing we do want to stress is don't be afraid to ask for help. Many universities are going to have so many opportunities for you to ask for help, whether it's in counseling or career services or exercise facilities. We are here to help you, and so please be aware that there's resources out there for you, especially during your freshman year. One thing to stress is sleep. Like Ally mentioned, you do need it whether you like it or not. I know for me, I really just I like going to sleep late, and I also waking up early. So that doesn't just really leave a lot of time for sleep. And so I've kind of had to, learn that sleep is something important, and it's something that I need to prioritize, especially when it comes to school. You're trying to juggle a lot of different things in that brain of yours, and sleep really helps you to stay focused, whether it's in class or it's studying for your next big test. The freshman 15, you've probably heard that a lot, and it's a cliche because it's a real thing. You may have, I know for me, I had sports practices, after school typically. And so that kind of provided this routine of, physical activity. And so in college, you have to kind of establish that for yourself. And you're also, there's eating a lot of different things. I know Ally mentioned a lot of free food. We've mentioned food quite a bit. And, although that's important, you do have to, remember to eat in moderation. There's a lot of unlimited buffets at colleges that you might have at your cafeteria. And so just be mindful of, what you're nourishing your body with, and just keep that in a balance. Everything that we've kind of said today revolves around balance. And so keep in mind when it comes to, your physical health as well, that you do, need to eat healthy, eat in moderation, and also stay active. There's going to be a lot of different ways at your university. We talked about intramurals. Most likely there'll be a rec center that will have a gym and weight lifting opportunities, yoga classes, Pilates, things like that. Most universities are going to offer some kind of exercise classes or facilities like that. And then also just take advantage of the campus resources that are available to you. If you're struggling in any of these areas that we've kind of mentioned, whether it's emotional health, reach out to the counseling center on your campus, because they are literally there for you to address any needs that you might have in this big transition in life. If it's, physical exercise or things like that, take advantage of the exercise classes and facilities that are available to you on your campus. Additionally, your residence assistants, otherwise known as RAs, are going to be a great resource for you to just kind of ask questions. If you're struggling with something, they're a great resource for you, and will typically know who to point you in the right direction to. If it's for career services, if you have questions about, okay, what am I going to do with this major, or what do I really want my major to be? Maybe you chose a major and decided, it wasn't for you. Those are just some of the advantages and the resources that most universities are going to offer to you. And so just keep in mind that it's important to keep all of these things in balance, and don't stress yourself out. Take time to relax and to take breaks, because just as your academics is important, your overall health and well-being is truly of the utmost importance, especially during your freshman year.
Yes, do not forget that. Okay, now it is time to talk to the parents. And don't worry, we didn't forget about you. And we know this is a transition for you as well. And you are trying to support your student and also give them their independence. And we know that that is a hard balance to strike. Again, all about balance. So remember that you're not going to do it perfectly, and that's okay. Give yourself grace. You're human. And your student is also not going to transition perfectly, and that's okay too. And they're going to learn from it, know that their experience is going to be different from yours. And it is a different time, most likely. It has been a while since you went to college, and your student is different from you. And so just have that expectation is that it's going to be different, and that's not a bad thing. And that's okay. And that you want to give yourself grace as well as your student grace. And you also want to give boundaries. And with your student, you want to talk about those things together. And a couple that we thought of that we think are really important are visiting boundaries. So asking your student, hey, how often do you want me to visit? And do you need to give them a heads up? How much heads up? Is it going to be a 3-hour heads up of, hey, we're leaving to come see you? Is it going to be a day heads up? Is it going to be a week? Are you going to plan that out at the beginning of the semester? And just make sure that you talk about that you don't just show up unannounced unless, again, that's something that you and your student have talked about, and you know that's something that your student would really feel supported by. Same thing with communication and talking about how you're going to communicate, how often, and it's okay to play these things by ear and for them to change, but I think definitely you want to have an initial conversation. And generally speaking, I say parents, let your kids contact you and reach out to you. That's not to say that you can't ever call them, but if you are calling them, I recommend no more than once a week. And if they don't answer, you definitely can text them, hey, just wanted to check in, thinking about you, or hope you've had a great day or a great week, or hey, hope your test went well. But don't give the expectation that you expect them to call back right away or within a certain time frame. I think a good thing to remember is that if your student doesn't answer or doesn't call you every day, it's a good thing. It means they're busy. It means they're with friends. It means they're going to class. It means they're studying. It means they're living. And I'm not to paraphrase or be cliche, living their best life, but usually if a student isn't talking to you, it's because things are going well. So don't freak out if they're not calling you every day or not calling you. I don't even think I talk to my parents every week. And it really was because I was really thriving in college. And so just know that it's okay, and that they will come to you when they need you. You do want them to be their own advocate, though. You don't want to handhold. And so my examples for these are if a student talks to you about a bad grade or a bad test score, maybe they think the professor was unfair, be a listening ear and encourage them to go talk to their professor during those office hours. And they don't need you to call or email the professor on their behalf. Same thing with their roommates. Maybe they're having roommate problems, and you don't need to call the RA and say, my student needs their own room. You need to listen and then encourage your student to have a conversation with their roommate, or maybe have their conversation with their RA about how to solve this problem. So again, the best thing to do is to be a listening ear. This is on our next bullet point of ways to support. Listening goes such a long way. Really, your student needs you to listen when they've had a bad day. They need you to empathize when something maybe bad happens or had a bad day or whatever it is, to get really excited when they got an A on their test. And that's just a really fun role that you get to play. I like to, just use the example of listening goes a long way. Other great ways to support your student are through care packages. Who doesn't love getting packages? You can put fun chips or chocolate or food in them. Gift cards are always great. Little office supplies, notes from home, photos from home, especially during finals. I did not get care packages, but one of my roommates, her mom was a part of a mom's club for my school, and so they sent care packages to all of the students that their moms were a part of the club, that she would always share with me, and so I got to take advantage of those things. Another great way is when you do visit your student after you've talked about it and your student knows you're coming and they're excited, taking them somewhere to eat is always just like a fun, special way to care for them. Take their roommate out, take their friends out. That always meant a lot to me. And when my parents would say, hey, bring your friend with you, It's just such a treat. And who doesn't love free food? As we all know, that could be our theme of the presentation.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We both wish you the very best as you enter into your season of transition as you go into your college. We are excited for you and we just wish you the best. So this is going to be, yeah, go guys. This is going to be our contact information, our email addresses as well. As we mentioned before, we are both a part of the Dallas-Fort Worth Admissions Regional Network, which is a member organization, and there's actually about 70 institutions, or over 70, I guess, institutions that are involved in this network. And so that's a great way if you are interested in either of our institutions or any number of institutions that are within our network. It's a great way for you to reach out and connect with us, because we would love to share any information about how you can specifically transition well into either of our universities. So we appreciate you and wish you the best in your college search.
Thanks, guys.